Hi class. Today I want to talk a little bit about dividing decimals. So to divide decimals, this is a really useful skill. When we need to divide decimals, this is a pretty common situation when we talk about restaurant bills. Now you're going, Albert, what are you talking about? How do I get 20% by dividing? Wouldn't it be 20% of? And that's one way to do it. We could do that. I could write this out as 20% 0.2 times 640, and that's a totally good way, a great way to do this. If I did that multiplication, I could get that, and I would say, okay, well, that would be 2 times 164, that would be 32, 4 times 2 is 8, 0. Now, I would not leave a $3,000 tip ever. Let's look at our decimal places. I've got 1 here, and I've got 2, 3. So I go over here, and I would leave a tip of about $3.28. That's one way to do it. The other way is to divide, right? Whenever we see this, I could just think of this as 1640 divided by 5. All right, you're going, that's not very helpful. Well, I can estimate my tip pretty easily. I could go, okay, I'm going to round this a little bit. I've got 5 here. This is pretty close to, it's approximately, you see I'm using the wavy equal sign, approximately $15 divided by 5. So if I wanted an estimate of what this would cost, I could say, hey, this is around $3. Now, I know that I rounded this down, so I might want to go up a little bit. I might say it's $3.50, or maybe they did a really good job. I could say, hey, it's $4, right? If I can afford that, right? I would do that. The other thing that I can do here is I could set up long division. Now, long division is not the easiest way to do this, but if I do long division here, if I do this, I'm going to set this up, and I'm basically going to ignore that decimal point. I'm going to solve it without the decimal, right? I'm going to say, hey, how many times does 5 fit into 1? None times, right? I'm going to do, this is going to be 5 times 3, that's 15. We'll subtract out that 15 now, right? So I do 5 times 3 is 15. So first I divide, then I multiply, then I subtract, then I drag down. I really wish this was a really nice anagram, but I don't have one. So just divide. So I do 5. I say, how many times does 5 fit into 16? You'll notice I said, hey, that's 3 times. And then I do subtraction, or I do multiplication. 5 times 3 is 15. Then I do subtraction. That's going to be 16 minus 1. That's going to be, or 16 minus 5 is 1. And then I drag down. Drag this down. This becomes 4. And I've got 5. How many times 5 go into 14? Well, I'm going to do 5 times 2. That's 10. Subtract 10. This becomes 4. Then I drag down the last digit. That's a 0. 5 times what gives me a 40? That's going to be 8. Now I have to go back and put my decimal place in. I know I have a decimal place right here, so my decimal place is going to track right up to here. And that makes it $3.28. So if you wanted to get an exact tip, you could do it that way. You could also just plug it in your calculator and go 1640 divided by 5, right? That's a quick way to do it. If you forgot, hey, do I need to multiply, right? Both of those are going to give us exact answers, but I like to use the approximation often when I'm calculating tip at a dinner table.